regularly scheduled meeting of the Aransas County Navigation District for Monday, August 17, 2023. As always, we will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance and the honoring of the Texas flag. May you stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Thank you much.
Nice graphic for the end of that, huh?
I don't have any citizens to be heard requests. Therefore, we will move into, I don't have it. No. Did you sign out a request?
Yes, sir.
Then, please. It's a sign-in sheet. However, since, that's all right. Since you intended to do so, go right ahead. You don't have to fill it out. Go right ahead.
But you do have to go to the podium. We've started, by the way, y'all, we've started streaming our meetings now. And so
been here all my life, born here. Been down that beach more than anybody in this town. I'm disgusted with it right now. I've talked to a few people here when summer started. I said, well, y'all gonna have to power wash these tables and clean this up and weed eat around these tables. Well, they did it right there at the beginning of the summer, first week. After that, nothing has been power washed. If you go look at the tables, go look at number 59 right now. Go look at number 16. That's just a small example. I'd like for y'all to look at these pictures of this beach. Can I pass them around? Or do y'all want them?
yeah, send them this way.
I've asked them to power wash. I've talked to the guys. You got Art and you got Tony. They work real good down there. The other guys, they work, but they're worried about mowing grass. We need a power washer. I talked to them already. Oh, it's broke. It's broke. It is still broke. It needs to be used twice a week, especially like on a Wednesday. People start coming in on Thursdays and Fridays. Look at our beach. It's trash. If y'all can look at those pictures, look at them. I don't know what it is about the power washer. That's what I'm here about, the power washing. And a little bit of weeding around the bathrooms, the Skittle cans. Really, I'm here about a lot. Everything needs power washed. Filthy, 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 the tables. And that's all I want to say. I'd really appreciate if y'all can get them power washed. I got grandkids that come and sit at these tables. Tried to eat watermelon once. Ants got it. They got the Cheetos. It's not the seagulls. There's poop on the tables. It's from the little blackbirds. The seagulls get on top. The little blackbirds are the ones flying there and poop on the tables. But power washing really is a #1 priority down there. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Randy.
Thank you.
What was the record doing on the beach? Picking up the dolphins?
That's Kelly's record service. They're just unloading their jet skis. They're not making a business out of it. They're just down there.
Oh, that was on the bay side?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Thank
I
you.
was just wondering what the record was.
Yeah, I thought he was doing like
Thank you.
jet skis with written on out, but he's not. They're personal.
Thank you very much.
You need him to fill out a form just for the record.
No, he leaves a note on our front door every day.
So we know. Anyway.
Thank you.
Item number 1, open meeting, subjects for deliberation and/or action. Approve the minutes of our regularly scheduled meeting, which was held on July the 17th, 2023, including minutes of July 7th budget workshop meetings. That's both of them. Yes, we have 2 drafts here. Took a look at them. I don't have anything to say. They look good to me. Does anybody have any comments?
Motion to approve.
Second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Nice.
Who's the second?
Aye. Oh, aye again. Item number 2, approve accounts payable list. Keith.
Yes, in your package, you have an itemized list of the payables with a total of $778,130.76.
sense. We try to put a pretty good explanation by each one of those so it would be clear, but if there's any you would like a little further explanation on, I'll try to do so.
You wrote the check out.
Which check? I wrote all of them, or at least signed on all of them.
26,324, the Texas Gulf Skiddos at
Yes.
16K. How many payments is that? I mean, how long does that cover?
That was probably a month and a half. It's according to how they send in their billing. But Skiddo cans is a big thing, and without them, right now.
We know the consequences without them.
I'll speak on that. I was gonna speak on it a little bit in reference to what, our citizens to be heard said, but the fact is that the Skiddo cans are a viable issue, because we're getting so many people that our bricks and mortar facilities just will not handle the pressure. So the Skiddo cans is an option, trying to keep people from going out behind the palm tree or something like that. But, we have them on a fairly tight dump schedule twice a week. And they are a local company, so if we have a wind event or somebody really trashes them out, they'll come out and react quite quickly. But it's a big expense, but also a very needed.
That's right. I would like to note 26,338, no, 338, that is, $702,000.
Yes,
And that's for the payment on the entrance to the Rockport Harbor.
yes.
What part of our total cost is that?
Well, that's a $4 million project, so that's a very small percentage of the total project.
So I'd just like to point out, that's why the total seems so high. The 703,000 of that went to that project.
I mean, that's a big project.
You don't put that up on the board anymore?
We can, I think we do.
Do you have a handout I can pick up?
Yes, yeah, I'll give you mine right here.
That's all.
That is a big project. You know, we're talking about repairing a structure that's been there almost 100 years, so we're
I just
excited
want to
about
point
getting
out
it
why
back.
it was so high.
Yes.
Item number 3, presentation by Mr.
We need to vote.
Motion to approve.
Second. All in favor, say aye. Item number 3, presentation by Mr. Chuck Nazer, following the discussion of possible action to officially support the Flatsworthy Organization boating, education, sources, preservation, and restoration efforts. Chuck?
I snuck up here.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for the opportunity of being here. Captain Tommy Moore asked me if I had something I wanted to put up on the screen, and it's very simple. I'll be brief.
Go right ahead.
I'm here in peace. I am here, and normally I don't go places in peace. I go to try to accomplish things. But I would really like to bring forward the idea of establishing a better working relationship with your body, because we have so much in common. The county has several resources that bring people here, and they're important. They're trees and they're water. And we're focused in water as you are. So items come up for our consideration. One was the Mesquite Bay Complex and having that turned into a sanctuary, which was a godsend for this county. You can sit up here in the trees and not go on the water and not realize the importance of what we did. All of the people that came here during my entrance came here for the water quality. They were fishermen, they were sportsmen, they were hunters, the water. And so we can overlook the trees and we can overlook the water, and we're going to lose what we have.
That's right.
So when things come up for our consideration and action on your part, on our part, we need to have a clear understanding ahead of time as to who we are and what our intentions are. I'm president of Flatsworthy, which is a nonprofit organization here in Aransas County. We have a chapter in Lower Laguna Madre, Heart Research, University of Texas, and in Galveston. And so that's kind of the extent. We're coastal, but we have more projects that are going to come online. the Mesquite Bay Complex is in the books. That's a sanctuary. The others are, there's some moves underway on Cedar Bayou that I'm dealing with that I think could be really important and need your support and maybe your leadership. The other is Ballou Island, which is part of San Jose Island. I have forwarded a scoping document to repair a shoreline that to me is critical towards the protection of the Mesquite Bay Complex. And the other is the granddaddy of them all, and that's to rebuild the mouth of St. Charles Bay. And I've floated that out, have partnership with Hart Research, UT, and Texas Parks and Wildlife, and that's gonna come forward. That's a great educational project because it's in front of God and everybody. You can take kids to the park, have them watch what's going on, teach them about conservation, but we need to be able to freely involve y'all in these decisions and to ultimately get your support. You're the navigation district. You're in charge of water. We deal with water resources. So if you, that's the extent of my presentation. That's what I want to do. Any questions?
No, I think that, can't see any reason we would not want to support this. Does anybody here think of a reason if, I don't make motions, but I would if I could, to go ahead and give you whatever support is necessary when it's necessary.
Well, that's great, and we're not alone. I mean, we worked with the CCA when we went to Austin to get the oyster situation resolved. We had 21 organizations that went with us. So it's not just Flatsworthy, it's all of us. Mm-hmm. And all of us together is how we can resolve these issues for the improvement, the betterment, and the health of Aransas County.
Are there any questions? If not, I will entertain a motion.
No, there's no, it's just a presentation.
Well, it says possible action.
Possible action.
We could, I started all this, and I,
Possible action at all on this line item. He just had a presentation, and we.
Chuck Nazer is followed by discussion and possible
It
action.
does say possible
There.
action.
anyway,
I can't
Maybe
read.
we should come up with a resolution.
Anyway,
Aim in peace.
I started all this, and I had worked with Chuck on the Mesquite Bay Complex protection and watched the things and the way that he got things done, holding the people that should be accountable. And it was very good, and there's a lot of that other stuff going on, Cedar Bayou. There's a lot of good things going on with that. And the mouth of St. Charles and Ballou Island, both of those are from the oyster destruction that need to be put back in place. So, you know, I support Chuck, everything he's done. If y'all are comfortable with it, we could do that, a general support. But I think maybe just keeping us more informed, and I can be that liaison since we talk fairly often, and really get out in front and make sure that we, you know, do resolutions or support for any specific
my
project.
intent is to create a line of dialogue. That's it. You know, we may go decide to burn something down, and you don't want to support us on that.
Exactly.
So as these projects come forward, to inform you as to what's going on, the intent, that's all I'm looking for.
Yeah, I say we just pass on any action right now if that's sufficient, and we just continue on, and now y'all have a little bit more of an understanding of what's going on and those things that we can do to help get Chuck pushed through with his projects that are so important.
Is that
Thank you.
agreeable to everyone? Okay, well, thank
Thanks,
you very
Chuck.
much.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
Thank
much.
you for your work.
Keep it up. I know you will. Item number 4, presentation of Mr. Jason Brown, followed by deliberation and possible action regarding approval of new meat concession contract for a juice concession trader, the juice box at Little Bag to be located at Rockford Beach. Mr. Brown.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Jason Brown. This is my wife, Holly. As you just discussed, we're applying to be a concession vendor at Rockport Beach. So combined, we've got 30 years in the service industry, mostly management. I've managed at Paradise Key. That's what brought us down to Rockport. We bought our house right before, during Hurricane Harvey. And
Bad
spent the
time.
next 4 years trying to figure out what to do for money once we got down here. So my wife got her real estate license, and I did Paradise Key for a year, and now we're on to our next venture. And we think the juice box at Rockport Beach would be beneficial for everybody involved. So we want to set up at Snow Cone Man, and we've checked it out, looking at the power. Looks like we'll be able to use power sources that are there, not use generators, so we'll be quiet. We're having the food trailer built from scratch, so it's going to be brand new, professionally custom built. If you had a chance to look at the menu, very simple concept: fresh squeezed lemonades, fresh brewed teas, and agua frescas. And if you don't know what agua frescas are, that's basically fruit, watermelons, cantaloupes, with water and sugar and ice, and fairly popular as a Texas drink. So it'd be simple. We'll have ice machine on board, so it's gonna be quick turnaround, and we're looking for some kind of lease starting beginning of next year. Our goal would be to open spring break, March of next year. And I'm here happy to answer any questions you might have. I attached kind of a 3D design of the food truck, our resumes just showing our service industry experience, and then menus and our business plan.
So when would you like this to start, say in May or June or spring break? or-
Yeah, in March.
March,
So
okay.
after we get approval, some things about the juice box, we want to do custom cups like you would get at a baseball game. So they're less trash, reusable, and we want to offer like a refill program. Bring your cups back at any time for discounted refills. We want to donate back to the community. We want to put 1% back to some kind of support to the Texas coast, different organizations each year. And so we have a lot of moving parts. We have to get the cups designed. We have to start the build of the food truck. So that's why we're here this early, but our goal is to be ready to go in March.
Well, you guys have been very thorough, and have followed everything in. The one thing I will say is, have you looked at the cyclical nature of the beach?
Yeah, and that kind of falls into our lifestyle plan.
Yeah, we're good. I'm good.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We're thinking March through September, and then good weekends, into the off season. But yeah, we're certainly prepared to have a few months of breathing room to do what we need to do in our life.
And our policy or lack thereof allows for a month-to-month type situation.
If you
and
want.
So I think.
I'd be happy to sign,
Yeah,
a year lease,
the point
2-year
is,
lease, whatever.
It's not a big pull on you guys.
Correct.
But just kind of get everything out business-wise. But, yeah, I think it's a great idea. I think y'all have done a great job. I think that it is something that hits a market here that needs to be done. And, I always welcome more vendors that will attract more visitors to our beach.
Well, on that payment, we do offer, you can pay it in any way, quarterly, monthly, annually, whatever fits with your business plan. We're
Okay.
flexible.
One of the reasons the Browns came in and spoke is because this is going to be a new build, and to give them a chance to get approval, make sure they wouldn't building a trailer and not have a place to put it. They wanted to get in early on, so they'll have the whole fall season to get built out and get themselves set up. But the concept, I think, will be
I like the
work
concept.
great down there.
Well, I make a motion that we approve their,
Jerry's got,
setting up on the beach and the standard rates that they're
Wait.
established.
Jerry's got.
You have a problem, Jerry?
Yeah, I think you need some clarification, pardon me, on when that,
Jerry's our attorney, by the way.
Okay.
on when the contract and the payment period begins. If you just approve that in the contract now, it might give the appearance that they're already supposed to be making their payment.
No, we will work with him when he gets his trailer built, and when it starts getting closer to spring season.
I'd
We'll
be
probably
happy to start a lease in January, or we can start it March 1st, assuming that that's when we're going, and we'll get our ducks in a row to be ready to go by
Why
then.
don't you modify to March 1st, and then we can always adjust that if we need to.
Sure.
Did they pick out the location?
Yes.
That
In that median, right next to the snow cone person, that's wide enough that we can land those trailers, but also wide enough that if it builds a line outside, that we don't have kids or patrons standing in the road. It's also close to a central location bathroom, which is at the Mid-Beach Pavilion, close to the boat ramp. That has seemed to work the best for these type of vendors, and now with us only having two, based on his approval, I think it'll work pretty well. Not all adults want a sugary snow cone, but they might really like a refreshing glass of iced tea, so I think it'd be a good mix for both children and adults.
Would you like to modify your,
Would you-
to have a starting date?
To have it started March
I'll make
1st.
a motion, we allow the two spots to set up on the beach starting March 1st, 2023.
Great, thank you, I appreciate it.
Do I have a second?
Best of luck.
I'll second.
2024.
Sorry,
We have a standard price.
so that'd be 2020.
You seconded the
I
motion?
second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Best of luck.
Thanks, guys, we'll talk to y'all soon.
Item number 5, deliberate and possible action, the approval of the construction plans for the proposed new aquarium building to be located at 702 Navigation Circle. Keith?
Yes, we received those plans via computer, and as Martin pointed out to me a while ago, us in our aging eyes, it's hard to see plans of that detail on something that looks the size of a postage stamp. So what I did is I had these plans printed on standard construction drawing size paper. I went through these things pretty well. I think their design is quite nice. It's much taller than I guess we anticipated, but I guess height is not a bad thing. It does have a little loft up in the upper section. It's going to get shifted downward or to the east a little to facilitate a road between the Parks and Wildlife's current building and the new aquarium. And that is to facilitate fuel trucks and Parks and Wildlife personnel going back into that area that lies behind those buildings. The Parks and Wildlife has a large fuel storage tank back there, and they also service those research vessels. So that road had to be there because they put a deck that ties the current aquarium education center to this aquarium building, which I think will be a nice addition. The one thing that I did see or didn't see that kind of surprised me is there is not a restroom facility within the new aquarium building. I don't think, and when they go to try to get city permits, I don't know if that will pass the muster, but a building of that size and the amount of people that they anticipate, I just think that might be a thing that they overlooked, but that could be based on your approval. The next thing I want to bring up is timing of their construction. I spoke a little bit about that at Commissioner's Court. We just have to make sure, once you approve these plans, that timing of this build-out is scheduled and scheduled very tightly. The Navigation District, as you know, and you saw some of the large checks that we've been writing for some of these projects, already have projects going on within Rockport Harbor. The director of the Parks and Wildlife is very concerned that if we have multiple projects going on down there at the same time, that much of the laydown area for this project and a couple of the district's projects will incorporate that parking area. They still need to have parking area for their staff. We still need to be able to get people down and through to the yacht club and those boats that lie behind and down the road from the yacht club. And just basically traffic flow in general, so to have multiple contracts going on at the same time, occupying the same space, just will not be feasible. So we opened up a window for them to build this aquarium, and we waited 6 years for them to walk through it. They didn't.
And now our projects are either under construction or have already been bid, so we're really gonna have to be very mindful of timing of start of this building if so approved. And really, that's really all I've got. If you have any questions about what I saw in those plans, I'd be happy to try to answer.
Not the plans, but what you're saying in so many words is that they will not be able to begin the construction until our two projects are over.
That is correct.
Yeah.
Okay, just want to make sure.
Are they
that-
agreeable with that?
It's hard to say, they haven't pointed it out.
I don't see a problem, they're not close, and we'll probably be finished, what, 3 months, 4
No,
months?
about a year and a quarter.
Finish that?
That and the new other project that we've already bid out, which goes along this seawall from right outside our office all the way in behind. It's gonna start right after that.
Yeah.
So long as it's understood that there will be a delay.
Yes. Because that's going, our project's gonna incorporate putting rock out beyond that wall, grouting in behind all the seams of the bulkhead, and then ripping that out and putting new road base, and then new asphalt. So our project is quite lengthy as well.
Although I would add, although we don't have anything to say about the construction plans, we should note that there is not a restroom.
I don't know how you can say we don't have anything to say about their construction
Plan.
plans, because we do, and under any leases. Is there an existing lease on that property, Jerry?
We have we already have that lease.
Real, they have the lease.
Make a couple of comments. First of all, in regard to the plans, you might recall that the contract actually requires them to provide you, 3, I think maybe 4 complete sets of plans in paper, full size. So you don't have this issue kind of totally minuscule plans. Secondly, with regard to the restroom issue, I think that's a serious
I do too.
issue. I think that probably it will not pass health regulations, and it certainly is gonna cause you, if you have
ADA too.
a facility with that much traffic and no restroom, it's gonna cause a lot of problems in your other facilities. And so my recommendation would be, since they can't get started tomorrow on construction anyway, I think you should delay approval of plans until that issue is resolved.
Absolutely. And those restrooms are so important because of the added folks that are gonna come in. I mean, they're building that with hotel occupancy tax money, which means aquariums work for heads and beds. So, and they had huge visitorship last time, and it's just gonna be even better now. So, I think the restroom 100% stops the construction side. But I say we table it to let it mature a little bit and keep going.
I move that we table this item.
I'll second the motion. I think we need to inform them that, we have grave questions about the restroom situation.
And wish them luck, so.
Motion's been made and seconded to table. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Item number 6, consider and possible action to approve the request made by the Park Club to utilize the Rockport Beach Circle for the annual homecoming bonfire. The proposed date for the event is Monday, October the 16th, 2023, with access to site required from Monday, September 25th.
Yes, the bonfire, once again, has become a true event, with it not just being about the football, it's about all sports now being involved. I think a lot of the people of our community, and especially the parents, enjoy going to the bonfire. So I'm asking if you would approve their dates. They've done a pretty good job out there with not just control of traffic, but also cleanup and just the overall put on of this, what has become quite a huge show. If you haven't been out there and listened to them talk on the loudspeakers and the spirit that is derived from this bonfire, you should. I go to it each year, and really it's a do not miss event. So I'd ask for your approval.
It's not the same committee over and over, right? It's different committee.
Well, it's according to who's in school at the time. I think these parents kind of jump in as their students are underclassmen, and they kind of work with the group until their students senior out, and then there's the next group that kind of falls in behind, and so it's been a nice pass off, I guess, from one student generation to the next, and they've got it going.
It's an impressive event, and the structures they build are very impressive and fun to watch go up, and then it's very impressive when they burn
We
it down.
got one person in the back.
And
with
the
a question.
burn has certainly helped the vegetation in the circle and been beneficial.
Right now, we have a burn ban, and they're 3 months long, and they're probably gonna renew it because of no rain and no rain forecast, which would overlap this.
The burn ban on this particular case, because of where it is, and it's surrounded by water, we have the fire department and things on site. The materials that they build it out of is unlike the bonfires when I was in school, where we had a shrimp boat standing up straight vertical in the middle of that, and it burned for days. This is all pallets. It usually burns within several hours. We do keep watch on it, and similar to the fireworks displays that we do in that same location, because it's surrounded by water and we have the fire department so involved, it hasn't been a problem.
It's approved by the fire marshal. You'll have to talk to him.
Brought it up is that fire that happened when it blew all the way around, across Conroe Harbor and got
Well, it will be approved,
Not for-
as Tom
not here.
said, by
Yeah,
the-
there was no emergency equipment at that fire.
Anywhere there will be here, of course.
Isn't the burn ban passed by the county?
Yes.
It is.
I understand that the fire marshal can approve it, but I would think you'd want concurrence with.
We'll let them handle all that.
Yes, we'll have to see those
Yeah,
approvals.
this approval is for them to use our property, and then
For our property only.
the burning and everything of that is up to the county and the school
I make a
district.
motion
To approve?
to approve.
I'll second it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Yeah. Harbor Master, item number 7.
Yes, there's several items I want to touch on today. I think the busyness of our facilities is more than evident. I never thought I would hear this, except maybe from my own mother, who's in her 80s, that how do we stop people from coming to Rockport? I'm getting more calls on that, mainly from locals who is seeing their community change somewhat from what they grew up with. But all of our facilities are under more pressure right now than they've ever been. Jack and I was talking a little earlier that every weekend looks like 4th of July. And historically, 4th of July was our busiest week of the year. That's not the case anymore. You know, we are getting more complaints on various things, like why can't I park at the boat ramp because there's too many people there? I can't go fishing on Saturday anymore. Locals are saying the beach is busy and I can't find my special table or my spot. And that's unfortunate. Also, I'd like to say, and this I don't say lightly, we're having more vandalism than we ever have had before, and that's quite unfortunate. Maybe that's just the sign of the times. If you can't flush that down your toilet at home, you probably can't flush it down the toilet at one of our facilities. I'll just leave it at that. But that does cause issues, and that's one of the reasons why we have so many portable toilets around, is to give us that latitude that if we have to tag out these facilities because of an incident like that, we're not without something for our guests to utilize. Next, I'd like to talk just briefly on the free beach, or a lot of people like to call it the dog beach. We do allow pets on this one small section before you go into the beach itself. If you have a dog there, it should be on a leash. And if that dog's on a leash, make sure the person who is holding that leash is capable of controlling the dog that's on the other end of it. If you have a large dog, you probably shouldn't put your small child in charge of holding the leash, because if something startles the dog, be it another dog that may be more aggressive, or hell, if it's afraid of seagulls, if that dog bolts, it can not only injure someone else on the property, but maybe injure itself. And the reason I brought this up is we had a relatively small dog get startled by other animals on that facility. It ran up and over the breakwater. Instead of jumping in the water on the sand side, it jumped into the water on the deep side. That small dog with short legs and heavy body structure could not swim very well, got trapped in the rocks, and subsequently it drowned. The owner was very distraught, tried to jump in the water to save their dog, was scratched up by barnacles and those rocks. All of that could have been prevented if a small child wasn't the one trying to hold that dog back when it became startled. So the repercussions of that action caused a lot of things. We had police and EMS and everybody else down here trying to deal with an injured dog owner, a very distraught child, and the end result was a pet that did not make it through their Saturday. So I would just ask everyone who frequents that area to be diligent about having your animal on leash and make sure that you can control it. Also, please pick up after your pets, because that is your duty as a pet owner in a public space to do that. If you don't do it in your own yard, that's one thing, but please try to help us in that respect. But yes, we are getting a lot of people in and about these properties and in much more confined spaces. Next, I would like to add, we lost a close member of the ACND, Danny Gatan, a recent retiree from the district, passed away. He was a great worker, a great mentor to some of our current staff. He worked on the harbor crew, where he helped train and mentor many of our current staff on how to build docks and piers and just how to be a professional. And I lost two people very close to the district within 30 days. It's tough, and we'll miss Danny and the help he provided not only to us here at the district, but just as a citizen of Aransas County. So that's where I'll close. Thank you.
Thank you. Item 8, Chairman.
Can I ask Keith,
Yes.
are the showers working?
At times. Right now, they're being destroyed as fast as we can fix them. So I'll just leave it
And
at
these
that.
are the indoor showers, right?
And outdoor.
They started on the outdoor?
Right now, right?
They may be tagged out. Right now, I have Marbach Plumbing ordered a lot of pieces and parts, not only for the ones down on the beach, but also the ones across the street here that have subsequently been damaged.
The reason I'm asking is people have been having, people shower with their garden hoses all the way up Pearl Street.
Well,
And
let me explain. Those showers are there for the convenience of the citizens. The citizens, or somebody, is destroying them.
No, I'm just asking.
So we just can't keep it up. So I've recommended that at a certain hour, when the citizens have gone from the beach, that we lock those up.
This was during the day.
Yeah, well,
I actually saw a person
we're
stop
gonna
and get out and use
do
the garden.
what we can to prevent the vandalism and still allow people to shower, because we know how important that is.
But that's all I had.
Okay.
But thank you.
Item number 8, Chairman and Commissioners report. I'm gonna go last. Are there other Commissioners reports before I begin?
I have one. Both of them, excuse me, are on the breakwaters. Once again, I'm just gonna talk about the increase in usage of the Fulton breakwater since those rocks are there. It's just incredible. We have a new fishing pier, and it's a lot of fun to watch. And with that being said, I went out and checked out the Rockport breakwater. That is another really nice job. The good news is that one's being built up probably 3 feet higher than it was.
Yeah, you know, the volume of rocks is we're taking it back to pre-Harvey and maybe even pre-Hurricane Celia conditions.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work, but we want that thing to last. And in these last group of hurricanes, especially Hurricane Harvey,
with the amount of wave action hitting on those rocks, they pulled a lot of those rocks down, and it shifted the whole breakwater outboard with a tilt. So we're making all those corrections.
We're way past all that
It'll be
damage. We're
nice.
coming back. Anyway, they built a very nice, the first section of cap is there, and that's gonna be a great fishing pier for the public as well. So, that's going along well, which was the reason I was so surprised it was gonna take so long to finish that other bulkhead
Do we have
after that
any,
was done.
Do we have any signs, warning signs for the people to walk to the seawall that been built over in Fulton?
It says natural selection.
Just,
There's some slippery when wets and those type of things.
We do have those.
Okay, thank you.
okay, that's all the problem.
Approximately 2 weeks ago, I received a phone call from Charlie Belair saying that the study on the diversion, which we're also familiar with, has been shelved, and that study will not take place. And he wanted to know if the district knew anything about that. And of course, I told him I couldn't believe it. No, we do not. And I think that that is a big time mistake. When we began this a couple of years ago, contacted Clean Coast Texas, DLO, it was always with the goal that the system would be studied and a diversion would be engineered, studied to make sure that it could take place. Well, it was not, and evidently, now there's a desire not to. Now, let me understand, it's not that any other improvements that might be made upstream, I'm not against any of those. The district is not against any improvements, ponds, whatever. But the whole idea was the diversion, which we believe and which has been told to us by Charlie Belair Engineering, etc., is the only way to truly prevent the further decline of Little Bay, and it has become very noticeable with the amount of development that's taking place in that Tule Ditch watershed, that the flooding situation is growing worse. And this last rain, which was not, I wouldn't consider an extremely large rain, there was flooding even in the country club, in areas where they do not normally flood. So upon hearing this, Keith and I, last Wednesday, went up and talked to Don Buckingham, the land commissioner, and asked her why we had even been informed that the diversion study was not going to take place. It was obvious in discussion with her, she didn't know why either. So I just want to let everyone know about our dissatisfaction and the fact that in this meeting, we now believe that it is going to be looked at again, and hopefully the diversion will be put back on the table to do a study. I know that it is an expensive project. I know that it is some difficulties present themselves, such as elevation, such as will Aransas Bay be negatively affected? $500,000 acre bay versus less than 400 acres for Little Bay. Can you tell me which bay is going to be and continues to be affected? The 500,000 one or the 400? So, bottom line is we'll keep the public informed. We'll be speaking again to the commissioner, who I might say is a very impressive lady, and I certainly appreciated her time and her efforts. She even brought in some of her staff, which didn't have anything to say, I might add. But I will keep the public informed, but we will continue to request that the diversion be thoroughly studied and engineered and then constructed. Because no one, not any other engineering firm that I've talked to, has been able to tell me they have a solution for the problem, flooding and environment. So that's where we are. We expect to hear more information soon, and I will share it. Thank you. Oh, by the way, I was able to find out where the decision was made, but no one will own up to why that decision was made, what influenced it to happen. That's still a mystery. So that kind of tells you something too.
Okay, it's saying where that was?
Yes, the version was originally and continues to be thought that would take place either down Trailer or Henderson.
No,
So the-
he means
where
where the decision, where the decision.
That decision was made.
It was made either by Clean Coast, Texas, which is part of the GLO, so I will say it was a GLO decision. But at what level and who exactly did it, we don't know. We don't know. Yes.
Thank you.
Press questions? No press questions. Okay. I see that it is, what is it?
9:44.
9:45. We're gonna have a closed session. We have some things to discuss, but due to the fact that after the closed session, we are having a budget meeting, I'm gonna limit the closed session to 30 minutes. So it is 9:45, give us 5 minutes to recess. We will begin the budget meeting in 35 minutes. If you would like to stay and be a part of it, or if you would like a phone call, I will certainly have someone call you. But in 35 minutes, give or take a few minutes, we're going to start our budget meeting.
Jerry has some input.
Chairman, please read the legally required description.
Well, I hadn't got to that yet, Jerry, but thank you very much.
That's why we bring him, man.
Yes,
Exactly.
thank you so much. Okay.
It's the best part of the meeting.
I would like to say before we adjourn that last year's budget meeting, there was one person here, and I think that was the best meeting that we've ever had to get an idea of what all these commissioners are thinking about, all the things we need to do and spend money on. So I encourage anybody that has an interest to please be there.
Now that I'm at that point, I will read. The commission will recess the open meeting, conduct a closed meeting pursuant to the Texas Open Meetings Act to conduct a private consultation with its attorney under section 551071 of the act to deliberate regarding real property under section 551072 of the act, or to deliberate regarding personnel matters under section 551.074 of the act. Following the closed meeting, the commission will reconvene into an open meeting. Therefore, at this time, I close the open meeting. We will reconvene into another meeting for the budget in 35 minutes. Thank you very much. 10:33, I'll accept a motion to adjourn.
I make that motion that we adjourn the regular scheduled meeting.
I second it. All in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, we're going to take another 5 minutes, and we'll start our budget meeting at 10:38.
So.
Okay. 10:38.
Did we ever go to live view?
Yeah.
Oh, that didn't change it.
Oh, they might kill the voice for now until we reopen.
Have a quorum. We are calling to order the budget workshop meeting, which is to be held on Monday, August the 7th. We will dispense. We've already done a pledge of allegiance in honor of honoring the Texas flag. So, Keith, We're gonna turn this over to you.
Well,
to
I'll
present.
kind of start this thing. We were waiting for the calculations to come in from Anna Marshall. Based on your recommendations on the last meeting, we'll probably have to have a vote here in a little while to propose the no new revenue rate. And then eventually, when we get ready to approve the budget, we'll need to adopt. But this will be more of a proposal. The no new revenue rate is 0.034041. That is her calculation on the no new revenue rate. There's a breakout on that. The M&O portion is 0.25471, and the interest in sinking is 0.00857. You have that in your packet that Janine was happily sent you. That gives you an idea of where we're going on that. Now, if you want to jump into your two different sheets, we tried to make this large enough, but in turn, legible enough for everyone to see. I guess we'll start off with our income. We pushed those income values quite a bit last year, and if you look at our percentages down the side on your third column, it looks like we're running just a little ahead on most of those categories. But also we know the spring and summer is our busiest times of the year, and it tends to taper off some in the fall and the winter. So I think we're pretty solid on those incomes. We did increase Cove Harbor by about $80,000 to allow for that one new lease that we pushed in, which was LAC Fleet. With all of those properties leased and everything pretty stabilized up and down that column, it looks like we're going to run a little bit above what our last year's adopted budget was, and that is from $1,238,500. This year we're proposing $1,350,500. So it's a slight increase in income over what we had, but I think that makes sense for us. The next group is really talking about beach income from saltwater pavilions to daily and annual passes. We really pushed those numbers up on the passes last year. Even though if you look at the percentages, we're above 70s on most of those categories. But like I said earlier, we make most of our income during this time of year. It tends to slack off. If we have a wet or cold fall season, then those numbers will drop off, and I hope we can achieve our goals on that. But we went up just slightly on income on that for the 2024. If you look down in our other income,
Can I ask you?
yes, sure.
What's that 400? Why is it dock and leases income at zero? Where
Which one are you looking
the
at?
number 400? Right below the beach. Right below the beach. 424. You just gave us the list.
Uh-huh.
The next line item, the 400. Is that a necessity to have that in there?
That's what, buddy. It's just dockage and lease at the beach.
Yeah, that's just, we just have that in as a place mark.
Okay.
I mean, if we get something, we'll have a category to put it. You know, you just never know. I mean, there was talk about another little vendor down there and things like that that was going to use one of those docks possibly. It's just a placeholder. But when you look at interest in those things, it's pretty self-explanatory. You look into our ad valorem tax. This year, based on Anna's figures, it looks like we're going to get just a little bit more than we did last year by maybe $40,000. But as you look through there, that's pretty self-explanatory. The INS, of course, you know, is our bond payment. Yes.
Back up to your 500 other income,
Yes.
you have the same number, 970,000 that you have this year,
Yes.
and then you've already transferred 300,000, should that not be 600
It's really varying on when we get those bills on these projects. That's what that other income is, it's a transfer.
Well, first, the next thing I was saying, it's not income.
No,
It's an asset transfer.
that's just how it's been done. I mean, I guess I can get our accountant in here and explain, but,
You're defending a 972 when you've already spent or moved 300,000 this year.
okay.
So where are we at? Give me a number. 500, under 500?
Well,
Yeah, what number line, what line number?
500.
actually, it doesn't have a number by itself.
Oh, I see, transfer and
Bottom
reserve?
says transfer.
Yes, transfer.
Okay. You set up for 2023, 970,000. You actual through June, transferred
300.
300,000.
Gotcha.
But you're leaving the same number, 972, transfer reserves for the 2024 budget.
Well, based on what you'll see in a later sheet, the projects that are ongoing in those matches,
Yeah,
that's
you're gonna say
where
that's
we're
up
trying
there.
to,
realize that's where that comes from. We transfer from reserve, and then we bring in the money from FEMA or whatever.
As long as you know that you've got a number that's a plug number that.
yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, if I can pull some of these projects in at lower, then our match, of course, will percentage out lower. But we're just doing that to cover those matches. Hopefully, we won't need as much as what we've put there, but that's kind of where we are.
Okay. What's next?
Next,
Ad valorem tax?
ad valorem tax, that's based on, this year, on a no new revenue rate. We've been holding that no new revenue rate now for over a dozen years. If y'all vote to adopt that and eventually propose to accept, that's what that will be. But that's to cover both our ad valorem and our interest in sinking. We do get a little bit of money in from a small little fund from Aransas Wildlife Refuge. It varies from year to year.
Why is that listed under ad valorem?
It's just our tax category.
Could be somewhere else.
That's their property tax, that's what they pay us.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's their property tax, okay, that answers that.
And now we're going to skip down to the commissioners. That's Social Security, Medicare, wages and compensation, auto allowance. Y'all haven't moved that number much at all. We're talking about the same within $1,000 of that for this coming year. That's where we are. Unless y'all decide to give yourself a raise. We're holding that firm. The next is personnel. In our personnel for this year, we have calculated a 3% cost of living. That's up for your approval or disapproval.
This, 1 million, is that, is our employees, including you?
Yeah, everybody. And then that also calculates down to group insurance. Our group insurance had a slight increase. Of course, then we go into our retirement, Texas workforce. As y'all know, on a Texas workforce, that's our workers' compensation as well. That's based on an experience modifier. If that ties back to injuries that had claims. It takes a few years to work off, a couple injuries. We've been pretty successful in keeping that under control, thank God. I think a few years ago, putting lift gates on all of the trucks and quit doing as much, lifting barrels straight up and all those things. I think the cost of the lift gates actually saved us money in the long run. Death benefit didn't change, so you're seeing a little bit of an increase here from last year due to the COLA and some of these other increases. Y'all got any questions on that? It is part of the beast. We're really not looking to change and increase a lot of personnel. It's just the fact that that's just the nature of it, guys. Now we're going to get into our actual expenses. If you look down that list of percentages per category, That rises and falls with the time. I hope that we can stay frugal in many of these categories. You know, just like marine construction, you know, we've only spent 26,000 of 60 that we had in marine construction, but it only takes one boat wreck to change the complexion of dock and pier repairs. It goes down with electrical repairs. We're gonna have some more of that going on this fall. It's hard for us to go in there and change a lot of electrical stuff. And there's some bills that hadn't even hit our aging report yet, which I had a couple of boats hit some electrical pedestals, did some damage. We also talking about putting some electrical underground down here where our project is going, down on the south end of the harbor. So, you know, Sam and all the guys in the field do a pretty good job of trying to keep these expenses in check, but they are kind of what they are. We tried to keep the overall category similar. When you look at what we had proposed on that, it was 445,244, and this year we're only looking at 450,647. You know, with the cost of goods going up like it is, to try to keep that in check as much as we can, I think is, it may be a stretch, but not a bad stretch. Yes?
The 300
Oh, let me back up.
road and parking lot.
Yes.
You keep that normal, is that?
Yes.
50,000? You only spent, 1,000 of it, or 1,800 of it? And that continues to roll each?
Yeah, we do, it's according to what we tear up on the roads and how bad they are. Last year, we re-chip coated all that area down Cove Harbor. We probably would like to do the parking lot. It's gonna, right now, it's just been so busy, we couldn't clear it out to do that. We need to do some chip sealing up here at the harbor, but it's just been so busy that we can't block the roads, but we do have money in there. We're gonna try to play that pretty close as we can on timing, using our interlocal agreement with the county where we come in and do that. Also, yeah. On the project, the FEMA project that we're gonna have down in front of the yacht club and so forth, FEMA only, because the way the waves hit, it only screwed up half the road. But when we repair it, do we wanna cut it right down the middle and only repair half? I think we should repair the whole thing. So we will take out of that fund to do that, but it'll be our expense to do the other half since FEMA wouldn't come on board for doing the whole thing. But that's why we put that in there.
Are those plans done
Which plans?
for the seawall?
Yes.
And are the electrical and lights? If you remember, we
Yeah.
had a citizen that was
I haven't got that, but we want to. When we expose all that, there's some underground we want to put down there that always gets all those fishing line and stuff on it.
Well, I think what
And-
we need to do, and I'm sorry to get a little off track, but he likes the fishing part. We have a citizen that's offered to pay for fishing lights along that. So I just want to make sure that we are all together and he likes what we're doing.
It's really lights that can be used for fishing. Because Tish and I was down there the other night having a milkshake sitting out, it was dark as hell. So it'll be nice around the harbor to brighten that up.
I talked to Phil about doing a
Oh, yes. But overall, in that category, as you come down, we actually reduced that category from 281,000 to 257,000, which I think we're going to try to stick with that as much as we can. That was on 4,000, the 4,000 series. We just finished up the 4,000 series.
Well, I did.
The maintenance and operation 4,000 series.
I did notice that we dropped marketing from 40 to 30,000.
Yes, we did.
You skipped it.
I got a couple of questions, if I may. And I think I know the answer to one of them. On 300
Yeah.
Is that because there's not an
Exactly. We had one on the previous, and we don't have one scheduled for this coming year, so we reduced it by that amount.
Malcolm, this may have been your question, .501, advertising legal notices, you budgeted 1,500, yet you spent 11,000 so far this year.
Well, that had a lot to do with the election stuff and legal notices that we had to put forth. We're just trying to be as smart and frugal as we can on areas that we think we're not gonna spend. We try to knock that down, and that's the same thing on marketing and things like that. We just kind of cut that back a little bit because we thought it was a category we could be a little more frugal.
Okay.
Well, it's comforting that you've got your answer, that's all I'm looking for.
Oh, no,
Right,
no.
Right.
Let's drop down to housekeeping, 612, you budgeted 0 this year. but you
We're not there yet.
We'll get there.
Yeah, 300, 612, we're
Can I ask you,
No, I did.
where are the restrooms, for the restrooms and the maintenance for the showers and all that? How's that listed?
They're within the system. I mean, because we got cleaning supplies, we got labor, all that. We don't break out a restroom and what it cost.
So, I mean, if we can't keep the showers running and we can't keep the bathrooms,
That would be under plumbing or electrical or a category for which we designate that fee.
I mean, it seems like we're having a huge increase of people coming.
We are.
And we need to clean up the trash more, we need to have it says on our website that we have freshwater showers and clean restrooms. So we need to increase that budget dramatically, like maybe double it, but I can't figure out how it's even listed. And if we can't keep the showers running and the bathrooms clean and the picnic tables fixed, then
That's a misnomer. If you go out there, and I will address, if you go out there on a Sunday morning, it's gonna look just like some of those pictures you saw. You wait till 12 o'clock, and our people have been out there for 5 hours. Hold on.
yelling at me.
No, I'm just speaking into the mic. If you wait 5 hours, then our staff has been on site since 6 a.m. and it will probably be done. I mean, there's no miracle that I can hit 120 tables at one time.
I'm not asking you, I'm saying that because we have more and more people coming, and I don't want you to be mad at me.
No, not at all.
We need to increase the budget, and I don't see how you can tell what the budget is to increase it. But the bathrooms need to be cleaned more often and then maybe you need something else to go around and pick up garbage, so it isn't like that.
I
But
guess,
you realize during peak times is only part of the year. When winter gets here, we won't need to be cleaning those restrooms near as often, et cetera.
Okay, I realize all that, I'm not stupid, and we have a budget, and we're not keeping them clean in the peak times, we're not keeping them clean. And
Well,
we're
that's
not-
an assessment that I don't agree with. We are
Okay,
keeping them clean.
whether you do or not, but the showers are broken and turned off, and the bathrooms are dirty, and there's feces on benches. People brought in pictures, and I'm telling you that I've been in Alaska for 3 weeks. I came back and 3 different people told me about the showers being down.
yes.
Well, they are down because somebody destroyed them.
Okay, so why are you, please don't yell at me.
Well, ma'am, you're bringing up things we know and we agree.
Yeah, but I'm allowed to do that. I'm part of the public, I'm here to
I will address it.
Let me finish. And I'm saying you can't identify it in the budget
Yes, we can,
individually.
by either product or classification. That's how we set up so we know what we're spending per.
Okay, and you're telling me that we don't have enough money or personnel now to keep up with this?
No, I didn't say that.
Nobody said that.
Yes, you did. You said we don't have enough people or enough money to keep everything during peak times cleaned up.
No, that's, I think you took that out of
What
context.
you're asking for is the morning cleanup crew to start earlier in the day and/or at night. That's what
No,
you're
I'm
asking for.
asking for them to be more present throughout the day.
Okay, and we'll work on that. That's not necessarily a budget issue. Okay, they get trashed during the day. We're in there first thing in the morning. By the time the people start coming to the beach, everything's clean. And when all those people are there, it's really hard to get that done. So, yes, can we do a little bit better? Let's work on it. But it's not a budget
Increase the budget,
situation.
the showers.
It's not a budget
Right now, Pam, just kind of so we can keep moving, we order these parts. I'm not a plumbing supply. We're using probably some of the best plumbers in our community, and they're ordering those parts. They're on back order. We have bought every type of valve, and we have waited, and we've repaired them, and then they've been damaged again. You can only get so much so quick, and we're at the mercy of the supply chain. And so at that point, our only option is to tag them out until the parts get there. As soon as the parts get there, we put them back up, and they last as long or until we run out of parts.
And you know where we could budget probably, and I don't know if we have it in here somewhere, is higher security
That was my next,
expense, because that's the only way to stop this vandalism.
It's not gonna make it.
but I don't know why
Kind
you're
of.
mad at me for bringing it up.
It's in labor. It's in labor.
Brought it up.
It's not being effective.
But anyway, can we keep moving?
Keep going.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
You know, we finished up the 4,000 category, and next let's go into utilities. Utilities is one that we're a little bit higher on than we were in 2023. You know, utilities are utilities. You know, we have electrical, gas, telephone, garbage, sewer and water, vac truck for skiddos, and the Wi-Fi. Yes.
Do these new numbers for the coming year account for the rate increases that we're gonna see from the city of Rockport?
I don't know what their rate increases are. We did put a slight increase so if you look total in that category is 506,000 to 548. You know, it's hard to say. Yes, Jack?
Well, you said you finished 4,000, and I have a question.
Oh, sure, go ahead.
In your 300 series, and I didn't mean to jump ahead, but again, your 300.612, you budgeted zero this year, you spent 3,100, you got that to 16,200. That doesn't sound like a big increase. What would you attribute that to?
I guess just anticipation.
Of housekeeping
Because we have we have housekeepers come in here and do kind of a deep cleansing in our office and in our transient restroom here at Rockport Harbor that our boaters go in. And then also we've added Fulton Harbor's transient restroom. Because we have so much tile, they go in there with some steam cleaners and do a little deeper cleaning than what my guys are capable of doing.
Just because you budgeted zero.
Yeah.
I want your explanation. Got it. Thank you.
You know, just trying to stay out ahead of some of that, really, to be honest.
And we could use some of that budget to empty trash cans or something.
How is, by comparison, how is the restroom at Cove Harbor South with respect to vandalism?
Not as bad. Up here around the,
Different equipment?
it's,
Different
no,
people, man.
different.
Totally different people. It's like you can leave your key in your boat, but you wouldn't leave your key in your car. It's that simple.
Yeah, those are all boaters, mostly boaters down there.
Yeah, it's mostly boaters, and I hate to say it, we built, and we don't get a lot of, I guess, compliments on the fixtures we have in there. But they're all they're all stainless steel. They're the same things that they use in prisons. They're almost. Well, that's where we get them. That's what they are, and they're almost virtually indestructible. But the fact is, down here, it's what they try to flush down the pipe. It's not the fixture per se, is what makes it down the pipe. And then it, you know, we get lots of bikini bottoms, pieces of towels, things of that nature cause us issue. And it's just the nature of the beast, I guess.
Well, let's face it, there is not near as many younger teenager, young adults down at Cove Harbor as there is here, and I think that answers the question.
That could be. I mean, I will say, in my neighborhood, which we have quite a few rentals, they're probably 40% of our houses are, there's been a lot of vandalism this year also, so it's not just.
It comes in waves.
Yes.
I mean, sometimes we don't have any, and then sometimes I'm overrun.
People who have boat lifts, they were just gonna see, can I run this boat lift down and get this boat off this? It's like, you're renting the house, you're not renting the boat.
But I mean, this is, I guess, my and my staff's crystal ball on what we think's coming in 2024. And I hope we overshoot some things, and I hope we undershoot some things as well. But we're trying to give, you know, something logical, and I think all of your questions are very valid. You know, our utilities are what they are, and yes, we did put a little bit extra in there for proposed increases. We don't know what that is yet, but garbage is a beast, and you know, it just is.
Everything going up.
The next is professional services. You see those categories. I have dropped that just a fudge from 341 to 338. And once again, that's just a guess for what I think may transpire on this given year.
You can't drop that consultant fee down to half?
That's up to y'all. But the next one is, you know, insurances on the vehicles, liability, windstorm. You know, we got some increases there, and we don't have those in stone yet because these agencies are giving us an example of what it could be. So we did increase that from 202,000 to 253,000, and that was just an educated guess based on their temperature at this point. I hope for all of our sakes our insurances go down some, but that's just wishful thinking. I believe.
Dreamer.
Yeah.
Question.
Yes.
401's 604, 181, and obviously that's an increase of 165 over this year.
Yes.
Is that just whatever company the city uses? Is that just their fees? Is that also landfill fees?
It's a little bit of all, Jack. We have the Republic service that's tied into a city contract that they force us to use. And then we have the trailer trash, which is an independent where we put some roll-offs out there that can react a little quicker to our needs than Republic does. And then we also have some small charges where we physically take some things out to the transfer station.
I talked to the gentleman from Republic.
Yes.
He says all he has to do, you have to call him, and they'd send another truck over here.
He lies.
I'm just telling you.
I'm
what he
just
said.
telling you how it really works with that belly
I'm just telling you,
laugh.
that's what he said.
Yeah, we have a list of people we can call when they don't adhere to their schedule, and the list is long and ever-changing.
Martin, I ran Art Festival for 5 or 6 consecutive years. They told us the same thing. Go over and pick up these on Saturday. You can call and we'll be right there.
Republic.
You didn't say which Saturday.
Next page.
Well, they got
Republic
a
sucks.
tough job like everyone. Part of their problem is keeping drivers, and once the driver learns their schedule and their route, then they lose that driver to either competitors or other jobs. I'm sure driving a trash truck is a tough gig. But our main problem with them is adhering to schedule. We have 90 of the little dumpsters going down the beach, and I want them to have that on their first run of the morning, because when there's 3,000 cars out there that garbage man has to dodge, he starts getting a little squeamish about who he's gonna run over and what he's gonna drop on someone. So it's really, it's a tough gig, and we know it, and we try to work with them as best we can, but it's a challenge, I will just say.
So if they cannot, if we call for an extra pickup and they can't do it, are we allowed to call someone else?
No, because it's their equipment.
It's their equipment.
That's right, we're stuck.
But we do the best we can with what we have, and then we supplement with some externals. And I wish we didn't need them, but we do.
Can you explain supplementing, like, if you supplement with externals, it's like calling someone else, right?
It is.
So how can we make that more effective?
You can't. I mean, we have them laid out there, so if I have things overflowing like you saw in those pictures, even though that is a little Republic can, we physically take those cans and dump it in these other bins just to clear it out so they have a place to put the trash the next day. One of the issues we have is people dumping their household garbage in our retainers. I mean, everybody who has a dumpster knows what an issue that is. And it's just a battle that we fight, being in a neighborhood or a community like our own. And that's why you see such a hefty number in garbage pickup. I think now we're down to the 7,000 series. We passed the insurances, and that goes without explaining, but we did not add a new vehicle, no cars, trucks, or heavy equipment this year. We're gonna try to be as blessed. We got a backhoe that's probably going on 25 years now. We've put a lot of Band-Aids on it. We keep saying one more year. If it looks like it's gonna break down mid-year, we'll supplement with some rental services to help us. It's not a piece of equipment we use every day, but when we need it, we really need it.
How often do we need it, do you think?
It varies. I mean,
Twice a month.
yeah, sometimes when the dumpsters get real full, we'll use it to push stuff down. Or if we gotta dig a hole, or if we gotta move material, we will. But we're gonna baby it through.
So we use enough to justify having a.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
And you'd be surprised what we buried.
Yeah.
Dolphin.
Bodies?
Yeah, we had to bury a dolphin
Looking
last
for
week.
Uncle Joe, well,
We
Do
do
we
have,
to choose which ones?
we do have some money in for mules and mowers. The mules are out there 365 days a year. They're in those harsh elements. Generally, they break down just by rusting their components off of them and frames breaking and so forth. So we always keep a little bit in there, and also our mowers. The mowers is harsh because we mow in very sandy environment, not just the beach property, but all of our properties have a heavy sand component.
And
it-
salt.
And salt. So,
Absolutely.
we baby them, we keep them up, we maintain them, but, I did put a little bit of money in there this year in case we need to replace one that falls
Probably go
during
through a
the
lot
year.
of blades, too, don't
Oh, God, yeah. Yeah. So that pretty much tells you that. Now, we're gonna jump down into the next category. Office repairs, we've kept some of these numbers pretty light. A lot of our facilities are fairly new, and we don't have to do quite as much to them as some of our older ones, but we do our best to keep them up. Pavilions, we kept all of those maintenance numbers as light as we can. That's encouraging because our guys try to do ongoing, routine maintenance. I think that helps us on some of the bigger properties. But if you look in that category on facilities repairs, we actually dropped that a little from 133 to 117. Now we're gonna jump into some of the marine categories. Bait stand rehab, those things are wet. Those things get a lot of use. We put a little bit of money in those categories. Dock repair, we always keep money in dock repair. We're one boat wreck away from having to fix a couple of docks, so that is ongoing. We really didn't put any money in the bulkhead because a little bit won't do you. That's a big number category. If you look at some of these FEMA matches, that is pretty much coinciding with what we either believe the bid is or what the bids have actually come in at, and that's the match numbers, which of course we pull those matches out of our reserves. The next categories are pretty self-explanatory. We got a little money in for little bay stuff. We did not put in any for our major repair stuff, which is maintenance, dredging, and breakwater. Those big categories. We'll have to find ways to fund that by grants or other means. Our interest in sinking, that's part of our ad valorem, which you see, which we already have our calculation for the year, which is 492, 160. That's a pretty good overview, but when you really look at the bottom line, that is a negative budget of $236,000. I hope we will do better than that. I hope there's categories. I hope I don't have to buy a new mower. I hope we don't use as much in trash or other categories, which will lessen that in the end. But I thought that was a good first take. staff really kind of coming at this, on this budget. At this point in time, that's when you as commissioners take this with you, think about it. If you want to shift 1,000 from here or 2,000 from there, back and forth, but the pie is still the same size. It's just who gets a bigger slice, or which category gets a bigger slice. As you go in, and if you look at our numbers that, on our 23 budget compared to our percentages that we've used, hell, we're being pretty frugal, or we're trying to be. And I hope we can do that again in 24. But we're in a harsh environment, and we work on these things daily, but this is our best, at least initial, showing to you if we stay at the no new revenue rate. Yes, Jack?
2 questions.
Sure.
8301, water flow, water quality testing.
Yes.
Spent 14.5 this year, but you're keeping your budget the same. My question is, have you backed off on testing, or?
I mean, that's one of those things I would hope we would do less. I mean, if the commissioner said they want to do some more testing, of course, we're going to pull money out of other categories to do it.
Anytime I see a category that you've already spent 3 times that through half a year.
But we did a lot in 23. I mean, we did a
Yeah,
lot of
think
testing.
of all that.
And we
We
also had the red bed testing, which we won't, I guess. be
probably
doing
went in
this
there. Did we do our
So your answer to the question is yes.
bathymetric survey go in there?
We did some things out there that I hope we don't have to do right on the heels of last year's expenditures. Maybe that was another one of those categories I was just hoping we didn't have to dig as deep in. So that was an optimistic number, I guess you would say, Jack.
But we are anticipating less.
Okay, now I got a question that you may have to go and get back with me on. But I'm looking at the P&L that was provided me. Thank you, Tommy. You've got an interest expense of $18,000 for last year. On what would you have interest expense that would be separate from your interest and sinking fund and your bond payments?
I would have to look
pretty
on
good
that.
question.
Yeah, I can't pull that off the top of my head, but,
I realize that, plus it's not part of your budget.
yeah. You're throwing a curve.
That's off the agenda.
Throwing a little curve on me there.
But it's a good question, and we'll try to get you that answer.
Yeah.
I bet you'd like to know what you spent 20 grand on.
Oh, yeah.
But Jack, thank you for coming. You know, we try to do a pretty good budget. We try to be open on how we spend. As you see, that we have citizens that are always concerned about what we're doing and how we're doing it, and that's okay too. But I hope you as a citizen and a longtime Rockport resident feel that we're trying to make this money stretch for our citizens is best we can.
I have a suggestion.
Sure.
If you had another column where you could put, because you made a statement that I think is valid, that your revenue slacks off when you start hitting fall and winter months. And that is to show your first 6 months of a year and your last 6 months of a year, so that when you're sitting here looking at what your revenue projection is going to be.
It gives us a
you have
better
an
crystal
feeling
ball.
of what you're gonna fall off.
No, that would be a good
So
tool.
I have a feeling that as long as the weather holds, Rockport's been found.
Oh, God.
Absolutely.
I think I talked to Mike. There's a good possibility that between last year and this year, this county will add $1 billion to its property values. And all that means is there's more people gonna come here. $1 billion.
There's several groups, Jack, that are big users of our property, and I wish they were more contributing to our overall. RV parks, I mean, their RV sitting on something the size of a postage stamp. So when they get out, they come and they utilize all of our facilities, no matter if it's city or county. And so they're big users, but very small contributors to the overall, I guess, solution.
Because they're not paying out the long taxes.
You know, but you're right. If we have good weather, it's gonna stay busy. But I think we can handle that busy kind of compared to our avalanche that we've faced so
But
far.
that's
And that's-
a good suggestion.
budget income low and expenses high, and you'll usually be okay.
Mike,
We
you had a question?
have, hold on, I'm not finished. 881, 800, 881 on the Fulton Harbor breakwater match.
Yeah.
Is that really gonna be paid in '24?
Yeah, we're just trying to close it out.
So it'll go
I
to
mean, when
24?
they, you know, right now, we're trying to finish that up, so.
Fulton?
Fulton, the paperwork. Oh,
Project's
the work is done, but the
And
paperwork,
we've paid for it, haven't we?
we have.
Okay. So
So-
that'd be more revenue in than out.
Yeah, it should.
So
And
that-
I can check that.
Check that.
On timing of when,
'Cause that's-
when we pay that.
And it's $550,000.
Yeah.
And it's
It's
probably
swallow.
gonna be paid this month,
If you look at
this
the
year.
particular budget, the one that you're in right now, you show $180,000 transfer that in ordinary circumstances would reduce that once you recorded that transfer.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's gonna, my point is it's probably in '23
And not
and makes the
24.
bottom look like, line even better. Oh, look, it puts us over the line.
And that was our hope. Guys, before y'all adjourn, if you would, make a motion to, at least, not adopt, but propose the no new revenue rate so we can record. That's part of us, things that we have to put online and things like that, to at least propose the no new revenue rate. And we'll come back at a later time, especially if you make some adjustments in this and basically, approve at a later date.
And it's,
That's the question, and nobody jump down my throat, because I'm not saying that we do this. But if we decide to not use the no new revenue rate and bump that up a little bit, you know, or stay at the current rate, what is the legal process we'd have to go through?
We have to do a hearing.
We do have to go through.
Protect yourself from
Yeah.
the marshal cutting your throat.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but our percentage, Judy, is so low
I
that it's,
understand
the net gain is almost
Negligible.
nothing.
and let me ask a more pertinent question. Do you, as harbor master, feel that we can get by with the no new revenue rate?
That's why I put it together in that way, the bottom line.
So the answer is yes.
We battle, I guess my girls, we take this, myself and my staff take this very personal. We try to be as welcoming as we can to everyone, citizens and visitors, but we also try to be as frugal as we can because this is the town that we live in. This is the taxes that we pay. And so it is our duty to do everything we can to hold those prices down. That's why when we bring in new properties and new income, we put that on the bottom line to help try to reduce the burden upon all of us. So I think we do a pretty good job, and that's why we put this out the way we did.
Ms. Buckley,
Yes.
I'd like to provide you a little bit more information. The no new revenue rate simply means that you are not going to get anything more.
No, I understand what it
Because
means.
we're adding, if you look at the last 3 years, what you've collected in that vortex, every year has gone up.
A little bit.
I get that, no, I understand. My question is, I know that there are legislative requirements now on if we increase and we go beyond the no revenue.
A certain percentage over.
Exactly, but that's my question. But you know what that percentage is, and I know the procedure, we have to go through public hearings.
Mike, please don't put in the paper, we're considering, an
I
tax
said,
increase.
I just said, I'm asking the question theoretically, okay?
Let's do it in other meetings.
But right now, if you would, one of you make a motion to stay at the no new revenue rate, that will keep us flowing.
Is that adequate?
Yes, it is.
And can we do that today? Is that in there?
Yeah, just that you're proposing it. That's what this budget is based on,
Well,
is a proposed no
I
new
make a
revenue.
proposal that we adopt the no new revenue rate.
I'll second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anybody don't like that idea? Okay.
Woo!
Well.
It's been a,
I make a demand.
it's that time of year for us to go
Okay.
through this.
I wanna say good job to you and particularly staff people. I know that it takes a lot of time to get these together.
Also, we need to adjourn this.
Motion to adjourn.
Second, all in favor say aye. I have 11:23.
I like doing it. I know you do. You ready to go take a nap?
Okay.
No, not yet.